Yeah, she was able to get away with it.
I remember those years. I remember about a zillion wind sprints. So nobody could put you, never did get away with it.
She was telling us that she just gets to practice and you just go, I know you're going to get in trouble, so go ahead and run them now.
Get them run ahead of time.
He was just
Ran
getting
them
warmed
ahead of
up.
time, after time.
See, I don't think he was ready for that either. He's like, I'm so tired.
I'm going to have you wear this. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Being here on Channel 37, where the linebackers again have been hosting today a recognition of Lady Lion basketball here at MHS. This is the 34th year in Lady Lions basketball history, and recognizing the 25th anniversary of our first trip to state. But tonight here after the games, appreciate everybody staying around. We have an opportunity to talk with Nick Dolph, head coach of the First Lady Lions team, and several members of that first squad, just to get a little recollection and observations of things that were going on at that time and working out with getting basketball going here at Minneapolis on the ladies' side. First of all, let's introduce yourselves to everybody.
I'm Terry Walsh. I was on the 74-75 girls basketball team. Now I work at Hawker Beechcraft in Salina, and I've lived around Salina since I left Minneapolis.
Hi, I'm Becky Bradley. I graduated in 1977. I currently live in the Wichita area working at Bank of America.
I'm Beth Nace. I graduated in 1977. I live here in Minneapolis, and I work over at ComCare Imaging Center.
I'm Nick Dolph. I had the privilege of coaching these young ladies on their first chance to play basketball, and it was an experience.
And I'm Lisa Coleman Lester, and I graduated in 1976. I'm an accountant living in Topeka, and have been since 1993.
Appreciate all of you being here, coming from out of town. Going through the startup of the team back in the fall of '74, give me an idea of basically how it got started. Was it something that the school board decided to do at the beginning of that year, or was it planned from the previous year? You remember how that's what got?
As I remember, there were several of the schools in our league that were starting basketball, and some of the young ladies wanted to play, and Mr. Music approached me and asked me if I would be willing to get them started playing basketball. And the disadvantage they had was that none of them had ever really played much basketball except Terry here, and that's what we was talking about earlier. Our game plan was get the ball to Terry. That was kind of our that was kind of our game plan. And she was able to she played quite a little basketball, and she usually did most of the scoring. So.
Of course, Minneapolis had girls track for a few years before the basketball got started up, and athletics were pretty much the male domain here in Minneapolis and most schools, I think. What were your thoughts about the transition of the athletic emphasis to allow girls' participation in sports? Because basically of Title IX, primarily. Anybody want to take a stab at that?
Well, I'd have to say that I think it was a little bit too late. I would have enjoyed playing a few more years. I only got to play my senior year, but one thing I will have to say, the first team that here, the 74-75 season, we were probably the tightest knit group of not only on the court, but off the court.
Yeah, we did. And that we probably were close because we were, the first girls. We had to prove ourselves, and we were very excited to finally get to play, and have the opportunity for us girls to play, and we did. We did everything together and had lots of laughs, and we still do.
Good. How was my memory anyway, when Title IX came about, there was, from the male sporting enthusiasts, there was a lot of negativism regarding the startup of women's basketball nationally, primarily. What did you experience here in Minneapolis, at Minneapolis High and around? Did you get much negative vibes out of the boys at school and the rest of town at all?
I just don't think they took it seriously, really. I mean, for a while, you know. But
I still think they backed it.
yeah,
I would say this is a pretty good. This community was always big. Not only they were big in athletics, but when we came in, I felt like we were treated pretty good.
I know it took a while, I believe, for, everyone in Minneapolis to kind of catch on to what, they did have a girls' basketball team, so, the first few games, I think it was probably just the parents that came, but, as we got better, we did notice the crowd, the stands were getting crowded, so, I think it was going the right direction.
Part of my next question has already been answered, but just curious about how much experience any of you had in playing basketball prior to that year. Was there any organized ball other than intramural, or I'm sure there's no summer ball leagues or anything like that like there is now. Yeah.
Just remember playing in the basement.
I remember we lined up chairs in the gym, and I would have them dribble around the chairs, and I said, now when you go around, always keep the ball in, dribble with your left hand when you're going around on your. They look at me, you got to be kidding. We can't dribble with our right hand. How do you expect us to dribble with our left hand?
And we.
yeah.
And I'm not sure we ever got it, did we?
I mean, Terry did, but
But the ball, we had basketballs going everywhere in the gym and that drill. But as the season progressed, it was. As you can see, these gals, they really had a good attitude, and we had a lot of fun. It was a fun time for me, at least. Maybe not so much for them.
Terry, you had obviously had some experience. What did you have?
Well, I have several uncles that are 6'2" or better, and Jerry Stelter, my stepdad, he 6'5". I learned very quickly how to move instead of getting it stuffed in my face all the time. But I grew up with my uncles around, and in fact, John Darrell Jr.'s father-in-law is my uncle Kurt. So we just kind of had a long background in athletics in the family.
That's too bad you just had the 1 year. Glad you had the one. Well, Nick, what was it like putting together a team of neophytes, basically?
I mean, it was a completely new experience for me. I'd always coached boys before that, and I remember one particular game that I looked out on the floor and we only had 4 players, and I said, "Where's Becky?" And they said, "Well, she went to the dressing room." I guess she had an equipment problem and just took off, so we hurried and called timeout and got another substitute in, and we had some kind of interesting things happen. I remember one time Karen Weedle on one of the earlier games, she had fouled one of the players. I believe it was Lincoln that we was playing, and as soon as she fouled her, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry." You don't have to apologize to your opponents if you foul them.
They're really happy to find you.
Yeah, so it is different, that's for sure.
Very good. Well, that first game at Lincoln was they were another first-year team, if I'm not mistaken by the reports I read. It says it was a come-from-behind 2-point win. Other than that foul relation story, any other favorite memories of that first game from come behind? Had to be a thrilling experience. Yes, she was the leading scorer. Terry was the leading scorer, and Becky was the leading rebounder.
There made points. Good out of those boards.
When everybody else shot, I got the rebound.
Um,
And a joke that one time somebody else made a basket when they were trying to pass it to Terry and missed and made a basket.
well, what did you average per points in that first year, a game? Do you remember? Yeah, okay. Very good. The first season ended with 7 wins and 4 losses, with a semifinal loss at regionals. I guess it was semifinal. Terry Walsh was a senior, one and done with the season, unfortunately. What were your thoughts about that season overall? Certainly it was a good foundation that was laid for the second year and beyond.
I think so. Probably the talking about, I think probably the most improved team. Of course, we started with not any experience at all, but by the end of the season, they really played well together and moved the ball and could dribble with their left hand side. And I was pleased with the improvement as the year progressed.
That's just all I can say. That was a pretty good record for a first-year team. But like I said, we were thrilled to win 7, so we were pretty pleased with ourselves.
It would have been nice if they would have had the rule where they alternated jump balls, because we had a lot of jump balls.
Yes.
And the game would have been moved along a little better.
That happened in the late 70s.
And that would have helped early on with the girls' basketball, because we spent a lot of time doing jump balls.
Well, thank goodness, a long, long time before that, they got rid of the jump ball after every goal that was made, too. As players, I guess you must have been happy for the opportunity to compete and not just be a spectator. That'd be correct. Did you get cheerleaders the years before, or left well unsure?
I think Beth had to choose.
Yeah, because after the sophomore year, they made us choose between the sports and the cheerleading. I only played my sophomore year because I loved the cheers.
And I quit cheerleading to play basketball my second year. But we only had 2 seniors the next year because of that rule. Or Frank and myself were the only seniors the second year.
Well, Nick, you coached here for 6 years with the ladies and had a winning record overall. You saw the initiation of a long-running the initiation of the long-running MHS Invitational. Have you been happy with the growth of the program for what you've seen sitting back as a retiree
Oh yeah,
for all these years?
it's been fun to watch the girls progress to sub-state, state.
Any other final thoughts or memories that you all would like to share about Lady Line basketball that you were part of?
I remember several times when we go in after a game into the locker room and come out, and there was a whole stew of grade school kids that wanted our autographs. And I got to tell you, I don't think there's anything in the world that make you feel any bigger or better than that.
What do you say?
No, I just think it, our team and every other team that played in the 70s, I mean, look at college basketball now. I mean, now you can go to college and play basketball. Now you can go to the profession, be a professional basketball player. So, that, I think we did what we needed to do. I think we paved the way, and, I would give anything right now if I was young enough, because that would have been my goal. Hey, I want to be a professional basketball player. So.
I just, it was a wonderful experience for me to develop the friendships more, and still haven't seen these gals for all these years, and it's just great to see them again. A lot of memories flooded back. it was wonderful.
Well, I know, just again, my memories, of course, I wasn't in Minneapolis here. I was still waiting to the school, etc. when it all started up. But I remember being in Manhattan in the early 80s when Kansas State first started playing women's basketball. And I think that was when the NCAA first started getting things organized for a tournament, too, with ladies. And there was just a whole era there for about 10 years of male resistance to women participating. Of course, remember there was the big thing of Billie Jean King playing tennis against, who was it? Bobby Riggs, beating him, etc. I remember stories of Jack Hartman there at Manhattan. I can't remember the name of the women's coach at that point, but she was often irritated at him because she was accusing him of hiding the basketballs, etc., for practice and so forth and so on. So it's just been amazing how there's been a change there, a complete change of thought, which was long overdue and good. And you know, Mike and I occasionally will say something about, well, she's playing basketball like a girl, but yet. But you know, it's been so good to see pure athleticism out of so many young ladies.
Well, you know, when it started, the girls always played first, and the boys always had the feature game. And for a while in our league, they would switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it would alternate, and now we've gone back to girls play first. But for a while there, I guess to kind of offset that resistance.
Any other thoughts from? Some of you have to hit the road.
We appreciate you guys putting this together. It was fun to get together and make us feel special. We all just felt special. It's been fun.
We appreciate all of you coming, especially those that had to drive a ways in this era of expensive gasoline and all the rest. But thank you for taking time to be here and sticking around two long basketball games, actually, to have this time with us. Thanks for getting things going at Minneapolis High School for Lady Lions basketball.
It was my pleasure.